Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt is ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. Does anyone listening or watching remember Albert Pujols with the Cardinals? Many of you do, right? All of you are Cubs fans, I presume, or you're familiar with that rivalry. Albert Pujols was already a Hall of Famer, Cardinals legend. 455 home runs at age 32. Played there for 10 years, won them a World Series. Everybody said he should be a Cardinal for life. So what happened? Pujols wanted money. And not just, 5 years, $100 million. No. 10 years, $250 million. That's what he wanted. And the Cardinals smartly said, Albert, we love you, but you're old. And you're already declining. We are not going to pay you that contract. So everybody vilified the Cardinals. I can't believe you're treating our player like that. He's a legend. He brought us to World Series. Pay the guy. And at the end of the day, the Cardinals didn't pay him, so he went to the next best option, LA. The Angels were the suckers that paid him that money. 10 years, $250 million. So in his first year, he did play 154 games and had 30 home runs, career low. OPS of 859, career low. Batting average, 285, career low. OPS plus, 138, career low. And mind you, that's the best season he's had in an Angels uniform. Now he's entering his age 41 season. And he's still being paid by the Angels. They're still paying him. Same salary, same money. Does anyone understand why I bring this up? Anthony Rizzo and the Cubs right now are engaged in extension talks. Now, apparently to Rizzo, he doesn't want to talk about it during the season, so now they're over. And he said that he'll play out his last year and see what happens. So technically, Rizzo's on his last year with the Cubs. And of course, everybody's vilifying Jed Hoyer and the new regime, the Ricketts family. He won your World Series. He's a legend. Gotta pay him. It's only fair. It's only fair to pay him what he's worth. I hate that phrase. You want to hear the truth? Or do you want to hear a fan talking to you? The truth is, Anthony Rizzo isn't worth that much. Not anymore. Hey, 4 years ago, if he wanted a contract extension, would have been 10 times different. I would have been all for it. Go ahead and do it. The fact is, though, Anthony Rizzo's old. And you could say what you want. He's had a great 6 years. He's produced 30 homers, 100 RBIs, 280, 290 batting average. That's great. But do you think that'll last? Do you? Really? You really think he'll keep that production up? He's 31. 31 years old. And I get last year was a pandemic, but he hit 222. Is it worth the Cubs giving up so much money, so many years, big commitment, when he's already old and when he will regress? If Albert Pujols, a bona fide Hall of Famer, regressed, anybody can. And we've seen bad contracts in sports, in baseball too. Troy Tulowitzki, Johan Santana, Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod was paid even though he retired. He stayed on as a special advisor, and they paid him his full salary for that year without even suiting up for a game. I don't think people understand what kind of commitment this is. See, people are using their hearts to determine whether Rizzo should get an extension. No, use your brains. Baseball is a business. The Cubs are in the business of winning. Does paying Anthony Rizzo for 6 years, $150 million, is that a winning strategy? Would it be winning to have Rizzo on the team at age 38 broken down? No, it wouldn't. And no, this isn't a personal attack. It's the truth. The truth is, he's on the wrong side of 30. The truth is, he will regress soon. The Cubs did offer Rizzo a 5-year extension worth $70 million. And it was front-loaded and included escalators that would have enabled Rizzo to earn more on the back end. Here's what Rizzo said, too, commenting on the negotiations. Quote, "We've had enough time to talk and try to figure things out. I told my agents to not talk to me about it anymore, even from this point on. It was good just to have clarity one way or the other. Now I can get ready for the season." I'll be frank. 5 years, $70 million. That's wrong. I agree. That itself is an insult. 5 years, $100 million. Now we're talking. So they were off by about $30 million. I will say that, and I won't back away from it. But I think people need to start realizing baseball's a business, and you have to learn from past mistakes. You have to learn from what other teams did. It's so funny. Everybody in St. Louis was mad about Pujols leaving. Today, I'll bet you 90% of them said great move. Because St. Louis knew we're not paying him. He's old. He's regressing. Not going to waste our time and money. A lot of it. And I know in the moment, everybody was mad. Fans, media. Just like we see today. I can't believe the Cubs aren't paying Rizzo. See writers saying that this is the Ricketts' fault again. Jed Hoyer doesn't know what he's doing. Right, okay. Yeah. Go ahead and consume the fan nonsense. Go ahead and listen to what they have to tell you. Do your own research. Do you remember, does anybody here remember Albert Pujols? Or A-Rod, or Johan Santana, Jason Bay, Troy Tulowitzki, Eric Chavez? Anybody? I'm asking. That's hilarious. We all just hear sign him, sign him, sign him, but nobody says, wait a minute, what happened before? Could we learn anything from the past? Apparently not. No one's willing to. And that's the problem with this whole thing. I like Anthony Rizzo. Good player. Best Cubs first baseman in history? No, not at all. Not even close. Derek Lee did more, statistically. Frank Chance, player manager, great player, great manager. But he's the best of this era, for sure. Won them a World Series, I get it. That said, he's not worth it. The only argument that I've seen for Rizzo to be extended is, we'll keep fans in the stands. Fans want to see him. He's a Cub. He deserves it. None of those are correct arguments. They're sentimental. Baseball is a business. You want to pay the guy 5 years, $100 million? I'm fine. If he asks for anything more, I'm out. Not worth it. Yeah, you could say that it's wrong to compare him to Pujols in his case. But at the end of the day, Pujols is a 10 times better player. And look what happened. Look what happened. The Angels are paying him $250 million, and his best year was 1 year, his first year, where he had 30 home runs and hit .285. And ever since then, it's been downhill. Injuries, injuries, injuries. And now today he's a glorified DH. And if the DH didn't exist, he'd be out of baseball. Hall of Famer, yes, but not worth the money. I'm not opposed to Rizzo being paid, but it should be fair market value. That's all. 5 years, $100 million? Sign it. Perfect. But I would not be comfortable paying him Albert Pujols money, right? No one would. He's on the wrong side of 30. There will be a regression. Trust me. If Albert Pujols regressed after the new contract, what makes you think Rizzo won't? Rizzo isn't better. And the Cardinals got so much backlash for not re-signing Albert. I can't believe you're letting our legend go. Well, at the end of the day, if you ask Cardinal fans, all of them would say, great move. Good job. And yes, Pujols brought them a World Series, won MVPs. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame probably as a Cardinal. And Cardinals fans today would say, good job. I guarantee you there is no one who is happy that Pujols stayed or would have stayed. No chance. If the price is right, re-sign Rizzo. If it isn't, let him go. Sorry. The only arguments I've seen is sentimental. The sentimental value. And I get it. Great player. But can we face reality, please? Have we not learned from past contracts? Tulowitzki, Chavez, Santana, Bay, Pujols, A-Rod. And I agree, 5 years, $70 million, that's an insult, sure. But at the end of the day, we know Rizzo will regress, and it's not worth paying him a substantial amount of money to keep him around for sentimental value's sake. And we all know that. I have yet to hear a baseball argument as to why Rizzo should stay. Give me a baseball argument. No, oh, he'll put fans in the stands. Oh, he deserves it. He won us a World Series. No, today. Do you expect Rizzo to produce like he did in 2019 for 6 more years? If you do, sign it. But we all know that's a farce. The Cubs lowballed him. I get it. 5 years, $100 million? That's great. Do it. But if you believe it's okay to pay him 5 years, $150 million, $200 million, you're out of your mind. Baseball is a business. If everybody thought with just heart, no one would win a World Series. No one would win anything. And they did the same thing to Albert Pujols. Legend, won a World Series. Cardinals great, future Hall of Famer, and guess what? They let him go. Because they weren't going to pay him $250 million over 10 years. The Angels did. They're the suckers today. And you can't say I'm wrong there. You know it, too. And if you asked any Cardinals fan today, they'd say the same thing. I'm so happy we didn't pay him. That's what they would say. There are no regrets. There is no lamenting. Everyone's happy. I'm not saying the Cubs should kick Rizzo to the curb, but I am saying only sign him if the price is right. And if it's not, too bad. He's a first baseman. Today, Pujols is a DH. Rizzo eventually will be a DH when he gets old. It's not worth giving him 5-6 years for $150 million. It just isn't. It doesn't align with the Cubs' future plans. There was sentimental value for Albert Pujols. Guess what? The Cardinals said no. And look at them today. They're fine without him. They didn't commit all that money. Not on the roster anymore. Don't have to worry about it. They have a replacement too. Goldschmidt. It all worked out. The only team that's suffering is the Angels for still paying him. 40-plus years old, and he's still on the books. Do you want that for the Cubs' future? In 10 years, this team will be completely different. I know he's a legend. He is probably the best player of this generation for the Cubs. Yes, I'll give it to you. But you have to admit, this is a bit silly. Look back at the past. Look at past mistakes before you jump to conclusions and say we have to pay Rizzo. I know everybody has an attachment to him and to this Cubs team. But at the end of the day, the Cubs have to do what's best for business, what's best for winning. You could sit there and complain and say the Ricketts have the money, this and that. But in 5 years, you might regret the Cubs paying him that money. The Angels did after year 1. And they still have Pujols on the roster. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have no regrets. Think about that. I know you love Rizzo. I know he won you a World Series. But we have to think logically here. What's best for the Cubs' future? Extending Anthony Rizzo and paying him a verbose amount of money is not going to cut it. And it's a shame. It's heartbreaking. He is a legend. I don't want to see him leave. But at the end of the day, if it's best for the Cubs' future, if it aligns with their plans, then it has to be done. And Cubs fans, trust me, 5 years from now, if the Cubs don't re-sign him, you'll think to yourselves, you know what? That was a relief. In the moment, emotions are high. I get it. Everybody wants Rizzo, world champion. And the Cubs have already departed with Schwarber and Lester, so I know everybody's on edge. But just remember the case of Albert Pujols. Remember, Chavez, Santana, A-Rod, Jason Bay. Remember these guys. Tulowitzki. We have to learn from past mistakes. Paying Rizzo a lot of money at his age and expecting the same production is insane. We know it isn't going to happen. The Cardinals let go of a Hall of Famer, a guy who brought them a World Series. Why? They didn't want to pay him. And today, if you ask any Cardinals fan, they will tell you the Cardinals made the right decision. The Cubs should do the same. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Todd Permit comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. March Madness is still going. Final Four, Elite Eight coming up. NHL's going on, and the Bulls are struggling with their new additions, but they're still in the playoff hunt. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.